Hi. I don't have a lot of time, but I really wanted to express this because what's coming up is the importance of the divine feminine no, and how this piece has kind of been missing from awareness for a while, that no is in fact something we can say without being ashamed. But this no is not a no of resistance. This no is not a no of judgment. This no is spoken from the place of awareness of the experience itself, and can only be spoken in openness and acceptance of and honesty within the experiencing of what is. It's not a rejection. Again, it's not a judgment. And it is not resistance to what is. It is honest acknowledgement of what arises in response to the experience. It is an acceptance of the experience being exactly what it is, as it is. It is not a statement of good and bad. It is not an indictment. It is a no that says simply, well, no. It says simply, this is not liked. And the not liking of experience is not casting it into the role of villain or monster or evil or wrong or bad. It isn't saying anything about the experience. It's saying everything about self. It is self saying, I don't like this. No, I don't like this. It's not saying, no, this shouldn't happen. No, I don't want this to happen. It's not even saying that. It's not saying, no, this is wrong. No, take it away. It is a much deeper, more honest, earnest, trusting, self-focused no. The no that is simply stating, I feel this and it hurts. Pain is pain. Suffering is suffering. Sadness is sadness. This hurts. This is sad. And that feeling itself, while there is absolutely nothing wrong with it, it's not even being told to leave. It's just the honest, aware acceptance of what arises with that. What without story, to simply be in the pain and crying, and in the acceptance of pain as painful. Acknowledging that there is an asking happening there. In the acceptance of pain as painful, asking is happening. There is longing for relief. There is asking for relief. It's not desperate. It's not even required. It's not a demand. It is an ask. It is a request. And there is a trust, there is a knowing deep in there that what is asked is answered. Again, not because of some story of rightness or worthiness or deservingness, but because all of this is life. This is one life that is pleasing itself. And so for life to say, I don't like this, it makes sense for life to say, okay, let's update that. Let's change what I am receiving from myself to become more of what I like. It's not a test, it's not a challenge or a punishment, there's not some other story unfolding there. It just makes sense for the sensory organ of life that is receiving, and there's the part of life, the part of us that isn't feeling predominantly, it's predominantly delivering, it's answering, and so it doesn't know, it can't know what it's delivering until the rest of itself has tasted, has received. I'm gonna scooch back here. We're gonna go in the secret room where it'll be a little louder, but hopefully you can still hear me. Life doesn't know what it's delivering to itself until the sensory organ of life receives it and then says and then answers honestly if this is liked or not. And that is a part of the process. That's not a mistake. It's not a mistake, it's not unspiritual, it's not ego in some negative cast fashion to experience preference. It is a part of life understanding itself and growing and evolving in a direction that it wants to. So it's time for this divine feminine, no, it's feminine because it is the receptive energy that is speaking it. And it's not projecting. It's not talking about anything outside of itself. It is speaking of its own experience. It is not saying, no, that is wrong. It is saying, no, I don't like that. It's speaking about itself as it receives. And in this honest acknowledgement, in the honest experiencing of what is here, and the honest acknowledgement and allowance of preference arising in this, we see that the ask is happening. We allow the ask to happen. And when we allow the ask to happen, we allow the answer to happen. Because the answering is in the asking. They happen simultaneously. If the asking isn't allowed, if we aren't consciously connecting with that, the answering isn't allowed. We are disallowing the evolution that life wants to undergo, that we want to undergo. And of course, it happens anyway, right? But it's much more clunky and sluggish because we're sort of getting in the way. We're asking for the same things over and over again because we're not allowing ourselves to be really open and honest in that experience of pain and saying, I don't like this, and I would like other than this. Which again is not a demand for anything to change. And as soon as you allow that honest ask to happen, you feel the relief, first of all, of honesty, the relief of telling the truth. I don't like this. This is what's happening. I'm not at war with it. I'm not at war with myself, trying to convince myself that I should be liking this. This is what it is. I am feeling what I am feeling. And then you can experience the relief of being put in direct contact with what it is that you are asking for. Not just knowing. It's nice to know. It's nice to know that what is asked is answered. It is nice to know that. It doesn't change what's happening here. Now you can be a lot more free and at ease in what's happening here because you have seen the bigger picture. You've moved, you've felt into the expanded space, the space that has opened as a result of your honest experiencing. And now that there is more space, you can experience what is already here in an expanded way. You can allow it more deeply. You can give it more room. You can really relax into it in a way that simply isn't possible when we are denying the arising of the ask within us. So I think of like sitting in a restaurant and you have been handed a bowl of soup, and the soup is extremely spicy, right? And you take one bite and it's so hot, it's so spicy that it hurts. It hurts. This soup is here and it hurts to eat it. And you start to cry because it hurts. And so this is the no of simply saying, this soup is spicy. This soup hurts. What is here is hurting me. And I'm crying because it is hurting. But at no point is there a story forming. It is the willingness to stay purely and honestly in that experience, the real experience of what is, and not move into a story. So we're not then becoming angry at the chef. We're not saying, why have you done this to me? We're not looking at the people around us saying, why did you allow this to happen? We're not saying that this shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't be what I'm tasting. We're not saying this is wrong, that the chef is evil and this establishment should be closed down. We're not seeking restitution for this wrong that has been committed. We're not bound up in a story of victimhood for how we have been wronged in this. We are just here experiencing soup that is too spicy and that we don't like, and that it hurts, and we're crying and saying, I don't like it. There's no resistance to what is. There's no judgment of it. There's no anger. There's no shame or blame happening. There is no story of victimhood or villain. This is not a thing that shouldn't have happened. It is just a thing that is happening and that does hurt and that we do not like. And in staying there, in that honest place, and allowing this honest no, which again is not oppressive or judgmental, it's not resistant of what is, it's just honest. And in allowing that honest experience and the honest arising of an honest no, I do not like this, we allow the ask to happen, the ask that wants to happen. Because this is how it works. It's this constant flow. There is ask and there is answer, and after the answer, another ask is expected. It wants to arise, it must arise. And when we do not allow the next ask to come through us, that's resistance, and that's painful. That is holding back. That is holding back reality. That's holding back God. That's holding back the energy that we are from flowing. It is not incorrect to experience preference, and it's time to allow ourselves to be real about when pain is felt, when hurt, when suffering, when anguish, when sadness is what we are experiencing, to let it really be there, and to let ourselves say, to allow the feeling of the I don't like this to arise. That's allowed to be there. That's important. That's not incorrect. That's not wrong. That's not a mistake. That is the asking. The answering comes with it. And it is time to let life flow, because it flows just as freely through the no as it does through the yes. You're saying yes to something else. You're saying yes to something else, and that's not a hierarchical thing. That's just direction. That's just guidance. No, not south, yes, north. It's time to let the feminine no and the divine preference, what is liked and what is disliked, to be honestly acknowledged, experienced, and expressed.